It's going to be a big year for KTM. They've got lots of exciting new models. It's not just sports bikes. They've got the big 1390 Tourer. They've got the big 1390 Adventure. They've got some new 125s, 390 Supermotos, and the Duke 990R. But I give you 3 guesses which one's my favourite. But what we're going to do with KTM is we're going to get hold of Jeremy Williams, who's been heavily involved with a lot of testing and development with KTM. Sit down, get a chat, and get the full lowdown on all these exciting new models. So it's a big, exciting year for KTM as we move into 2025. Lots of new models, lots of big capacity. Like a lot of manufacturers have got like Euro 5, new dash, new this, but KTM have gone big. And Jeremy, you've been involved in near enough every model.
Yeah, luckily I have, and actually it's been quite a lot of fun developing and working with the teams because obviously we have different teams for RC and different teams for GT that we'll talk about later. But yeah, I was really lucky to be the first rider to test the road-going version that will be launched at the start of the year, and then now we've moved on to track-going version. But yeah, geometry, ergo, now my wheelie controls in there. My new ABS settings, which is, I think you'll really love. Yep. Some additional ABS that I think we really will use throughout the whole range in the future because it's so much fun on the sport ABS that we have on this model right now. And then of course, track only. I'm not sure when that's going to be launched, but we were doing the traction control settings on this one last week in Spain, so they're different again. You don't just take one file from here and put it into here.
Yeah.
This has got a fair bit more go in it, obviously, different gear ratios, much different suspension, obviously, brakes, etc., and it's much lighter, so it's kind of bespoke settings for suspension, traction control, etc.
And when did are you just doing the road side or are you just doing the track side? Which side is?
A bit of both, so there's no secret now that KTM are coming out with track-only models next year, one being my favourite beast, at some point, but we get to work on these as much as we would get to work on the street stuff. Of course, you don't spend as much time because on the street, that's 99% street tested, and you get maybe 1 or 2% on track, and it just for track-only settings. Where on the track bikes, you're spending a lot more time, basically developing the best track settings than you can for that bike, which we've been doing with this track bike.
Cool. And moving away from the track, we've got the big 1390 Super Adventure. How have you been involved with that new model?
And that's been, my kind of bag for the last 3 years, actually, Adam, because we kind of thought when we got onto it, it made progress so quickly. Such a fun bike to work on, and such an easy bike to develop because we were coming from obviously the Super Duke, under its skin, and then developing all of the ergo and comfort settings and all of the latest rider additions, onto that bike. But it was, I kind of thought we might have had it in 2024, and then luckily we held back because there was more upgrades that came from WP on software, hardware. Yeah. We basically just made the kind of it just opened the range even wider to what we've got from our super comfort settings all the way through to a track setting, and yes, that's got a track setting as well, being KTM, and I got to develop the track settings and the traction control, etc. for that. So it's been a lovely development process, and something I think is I'm very proud of to be part of that development team, and that will be my next bike. I will have one of those on the street.
Not the 1390 GT, because obviously that's another one.
No, the GT, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm going to have the 1390 GT because that's the bike I've been developing. Sorry, I thought you were asking me about the GT, but yeah, it's kind of, it's nice when you've got such a great, naked bike to work from. It wasn't particularly difficult to develop something that you could sit on all day.
Yeah.
And cruise about, but also if you want to turn it into a complete out-and-out sport bike, it becomes one of the Super Dukes. It does everything the Super Duke does, so it's just, I guess it's just got like a wider range of usability.
I think for me, it's one of the most exciting stands at Motorcycle Live, because you've got such a variety of bikes and everything just is like in that slogan of ready to race, which I can't wait to do.
It seems to be the busiest stand. You know, I've been through the show here today, and for a Monday, it's been absolutely like at 9:30 or 10 o'clock this morning. You couldn't walk through here. So yeah, it's great to see the public taking such an interest in it. As we know, every manufacturer's going through their difficult times, but this is onward and upward, and they're now launching more models than they've ever launched before, and that seems to be the trend ongoing. So yeah, it's been a nice couple of years being fully immersed in the development of what we see here, because this is the first time I've seen the track bike in its glory and its colours.
Yeah.
Everything we develop is
full of wires.
It's matte black, or it's got a camouflage coating on it, as you've seen. This is the first time I've seen it. I think it's the only one like this, and I was on one of these last week, and the one I was on was white, or with a black one and a white one.
Yeah.
So it's nice. Yeah.
Cool, mate. Well, thanks for your time. Looking forward to riding both bikes. Hopefully you will show me how it's done again.
I can't wait to get back on track again somewhere, and maybe we'll do that again in the new year. There's word that we might all get together somewhere and do a bit of track time, so hopefully that comes.
Okay.
But yeah, good to see you there.
Thanks for your time, mate. Cheers, mate. So that was cool to hook up with Jeremy Williams, who's been heavily involved with all these bikes, developing the traction control, the rider aids, engine development and fueling. Looking forward to riding on track shortly, and it's going to be a probably dangerous riding competition when we get to ride the 990R with Jezza on the road and track. Thanks for watching. If you've got any more details about any of the bikes Bree mentioned, please fire them below. Don't forget to subscribe and like us, and we'll be bringing you these exclusive tests in early 2025.